You know, right now, in this very moment, millions of people are rushing. They're running towards something they think they need to catch. They're sprinting through their days, their weeks, their entire lives, as if there's some invisible finish line waiting for them. And the tragedy is this: they have no idea where that finish line is or what they'll get when they cross it. They just know they need to run faster, run harder, keep going. Don't stop. Don't slow down. Because if you slow down, someone might pass you. If you stop, you might fall behind. And falling behind, well, that's the worst thing that could possibly happen, right? Wrong. Life is not a race. It never was. It never will be. But somewhere along the way, we got confused. We started believing that our worth is measured by how fast we move, how much we accumulate, how many boxes we can check off some imaginary list that society handed us. We started running, and we forgot to ask ourselves a simple question: where am I running to? And more importantly, why am I running at all? When you were born, you weren't in a hurry. You didn't come into this world with a stopwatch around your neck and a list of achievements you needed to accomplish by age 5, 10, or 25. You came here whole, complete, and perfect. You came here with everything you needed already inside you. You were born with gifts, with talents, with a unique way of seeing the world that no one else has. You were born to express yourself, to create, to love, to experience the fullness of this human experience. But then something happened. The world started telling you stories. Stories about who you should be, what you should want, how fast you should get there. And slowly, gradually, you started to believe these stories. You started to think that your value is determined by external things, by your job title, by your bank account, by the car you drive or the house you live in, by how you compare to the person next to you, by whether you're ahead or behind in some race that nobody really understands. And once you started believing these stories, you started running. You had to keep up. You had to prove yourself. You had to show the world, and maybe more importantly, show yourself, that you were good enough, worthy enough, successful enough. But here's what nobody tells you: the race is an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's a construct, a story, a collective agreement we've all bought into without questioning it. And the moment you realize this, everything changes. The moment you understand that there is no race, you can stop running, you can catch your breath, you can look around and actually see where you are, who you're with, what's available to you right now in this present moment. Because the truth is, you're not behind. You never were. You're not ahead either. You're exactly where you need to be, right here, right now, in this moment. This is your life. Not the life you'll have when you finally achieve that goal. Not the life you'll live when you finally get that promotion or lose that weight or find that relationship. This moment right now is your life. And if you're so busy running towards some future destination, you're missing it. You're missing the only thing that's real, the only thing that actually exists. Now, think about it for a moment. When you're running, what are you focused on? The future. Some imaginary point in time when things will be better, when you'll finally be happy, when you'll finally be able to relax and enjoy yourself. You're always looking ahead, always focused on what's next, what's coming, what you still need to do. And in the process, you're completely absent from your own life. You're not tasting your food. You're not hearing the laughter of your children. You're not feeling the sun on your face or the ground beneath your feet. You're not present with the people you love. You're somewhere else, always somewhere else, in some future that never quite arrives. Because here's the trick, here's the cosmic joke. When you finally get to that future destination, when you finally achieve that goal you've been running toward, you don't stop. You don't suddenly become present and grateful and satisfied. No, you just set a new goal. You move the finish line a little further down the road. You find something else to chase, something else to prove, something else that you convince yourself you need in order to be happy, and the running continues. The race goes on. And your life, your precious, beautiful, unrepeatable life, continues to pass you by. I've seen this pattern in countless people. They work themselves to exhaustion, trying to climb the corporate ladder, thinking that the next promotion will bring them fulfillment. They get the promotion, and there's a brief moment of satisfaction, maybe a day or a week, and then what? They're looking at the next rung on the ladder. They're comparing themselves to someone who's higher up. They're back in the race, running again. Or they think that finding the right relationship will complete them, will make them whole. They find someone, and it's wonderful for a while, but then they start focusing on what's wrong with the relationship, what's missing, how it could be better. They're running even within their relationships, trying to reach some ideal that exists only in their minds. The same thing happens with money, with possessions, with status, with everything external. You think you need a certain amount of money to feel secure. You reach that amount, and the number just goes up. You think you need a bigger house, a nicer car, a better vacation. You get those things, and they don't deliver the lasting happiness you expected. Because happiness, real happiness, doesn't come from external circumstances. It never has, and it never will. Happiness is an inside job. It's a choice you make, a state of being you cultivate, regardless of what's happening around you. When you're running through life, you're operating from a mindset of lack, of scarcity. You're telling yourself, either consciously or unconsciously, that something is missing, that you're not enough as you are, that you need to acquire something, achieve something, become something different in order to be worthy, in order to be happy, in order to be at peace. And this mindset creates suffering. It creates anxiety, stress, dissatisfaction, and a constant feeling of restlessness. Because no matter what you get, no matter what you achieve, it's never enough. There's always more to do, more to get, more to become. But what if you stopped? What if, right now, you simply stopped running? What if you took a breath, looked around, and asked yourself, what if I'm already enough? What if there's nothing wrong with me, nothing missing, nothing I need to fix or change or acquire? What if I'm already whole, already complete, already worthy of love and happiness and peace? What would happen if you believed that? Everything would change. Because when you stop running, when you step out of the race, you create space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to feel, space to be. You create space to hear your own inner voice, the voice that's been trying to guide you all along, but that you couldn't hear over the noise of the race. You create space to connect with what truly matters to you, with your values, your passions, your purpose. You create space to be present with the people you love, to actually see them, hear them, appreciate them. You create space for joy, for gratitude, for wonder, for all the beautiful things that can only be experienced when you're present, when you're here, when you're not running. And here's something else that happens when you stop running. You realize that you have enough. You have enough time. You have enough money. You have enough love. You have enough of everything you truly need. The feeling of lack, of scarcity, of never having enough, that's just a story. It's a belief you've been carrying, not a truth. When you slow down and actually look at your life, really look at it, you see abundance everywhere. You see all the things you've been taking for granted while you were busy chasing something else. You see the miracle of your own existence, the gift of each breath, each moment, each experience. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have goals or dreams or things you want to create or achieve. That's not what this is about. Goals are wonderful. They give us direction, they inspire us, they call us forward. But there's a big difference between moving towards something because it excites you, because it's an expression of who you are, and running towards something because you think you need it in order to be worthy or happy or enough. The first is joyful creation. The second is suffering. When you move through life from a place of wholeness, from a place of already being enough, your goals become expressions of your joy, not requirements for your happiness. You pursue things because you want to, because they align with your values and your vision, not because you feel like you have to in order to prove something. And interestingly, when you approach life this way, things often unfold more easily, because you're not pushing and forcing and struggling, you're allowing, you're flowing. You're trusting that you're being guided, that you're exactly where you need to be, learning what you need to learn, growing in the ways you need to grow. This is what it means to live from the inside out rather than the outside in. When you live from the outside in, you let external circumstances dictate your internal state. If things are going well according to society's standards, you feel good. If things aren't going well, you feel bad. Your happiness is like a boat on the ocean, tossed around by waves you have no control over. But when you live from the inside out, you recognize that your internal state is your choice. You choose how you want to feel, how you want to show up, how you want to experience this moment, regardless of what's happening around you. You become like a lighthouse, stable and grounded, shining your light no matter what storms may be raging. And this requires a fundamental shift in how you think about success. The world tells you that success is about what you have, what you've accomplished, what you can show for yourself. But real success, true success, is about who you are, how you feel, how you treat others, how present you are in your own life. Real success is waking up in the morning feeling grateful for another day. Real success is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and genuinely like the person you see. Real success is having loving relationships with the people who matter to you. Real success is doing work that feels meaningful, that aligns with your values, that allows you to express your unique gifts. Real success is being at peace, being content, being here now. You see, when you're racing through life, you're always focused on the destination. You're always thinking about where you're going, what you're trying to reach. And in doing so, you completely miss the journey. You miss the process, the experiences, the growth, the lessons, the beauty that exists in every single step along the way. But life isn't about the destination. How could it be? The ultimate destination for all of us is the same. We're all going to die. That's the one thing we can be absolutely certain about. So if life is about reaching a destination, then life is about dying, which doesn't make much sense, does it? No, life is about the journey. Life is about what happens between your birth and your death. It's about the experiences you have, the people you love, the things you create, the ways you grow, the moments you're present for. It's about the journey, not the destination. And when you're running, you're not on a journey, you're just trying to get somewhere else as fast as possible, which means you're not really living at all. There's an old story about a group of explorers who hired some local guides to help them trek through a jungle. The explorers were in a hurry, pushing hard, trying to cover as much ground as possible each day. They kept urging the guides to move faster, to keep going. But after 3 days of this rapid pace, the guides suddenly stopped and sat down. The explorers were frustrated and asked why they were stopping. One of the guides replied, "We've been moving too fast. We need to stop now and wait for our souls to catch up with our bodies." That's what happens when we're running through life. Our souls can't keep up. We're moving so fast, we're so disconnected from ourselves, from our essence, from what truly matters. We become like machines, just going through the motions, checking boxes, completing tasks, but not really living, not really feeling, not really being. And then we wonder why we feel empty, why we feel unfulfilled, why nothing seems to satisfy us. It's because we've left the most important part of ourselves behind. Your soul isn't interested in the race. Your soul doesn't care about your job title or your bank account or how you compare to your neighbors. Your soul cares about love, about truth, about beauty, about connection, about expression, about growth. Your soul wants you to be present, to be authentic, to be real. Your soul wants you to slow down, to breathe, to feel, to be here now. And when you're running, you can't hear your soul. You can't feel its guidance. You can't experience the peace and joy that come from being aligned with your deepest truth. So how do you stop running? How do you step out of the race? It starts with awareness. It starts with noticing that you're running, recognizing the patterns, seeing the ways you've bought into the story that you're not enough as you are. It starts with questioning the beliefs you've been carrying, the assumptions you've been making about what you need in order to be happy. It starts with getting honest with yourself about what you truly value, what truly matters to you, not what you've been told should matter. And then it requires a choice, a decision. You have to decide that you're going to stop. You have to decide that you're going to step off the treadmill, even if it scares you, even if everyone around you is still running, even if you're not sure what will happen if you stop. You have to decide that you're willing to trust yourself, to trust life, to trust that you'll be okay, that you'll be more than okay if you stop trying so hard and just let yourself be. This doesn't mean you become lazy or unmotivated or that you stop caring about things. Not at all. In fact, when you stop running, you often become more effective, more creative, more productive because you're no longer operating from fear and anxiety. You're operating from clarity and purpose and alignment. You're doing things because they matter to you, not because you think you should or because you're trying to prove something. And when you're doing things from that place, they become easier, more enjoyable, more fulfilling. One of the most powerful things you can do is to spend time in silence, in stillness. Just sit quietly, without distractions, without your phone, without anything to do. Just sit and breathe and be. At first, this might feel uncomfortable. Your mind might race. You might feel anxious or restless. That's normal. That's just all the energy you've been using to run, looking for somewhere to go. But if you stay with it, if you keep sitting, keep breathing, keep being present, something begins to shift. You begin to settle. You begin to come home to yourself. You begin to reconnect with that quiet voice inside, the one that knows the truth, the one that's been there all along. And as you practice this, as you spend more time in stillness, you begin to see your life differently. You begin to notice things you've been missing. You begin to appreciate things you've been taking for granted. You begin to feel gratitude for the simple fact of being alive, of having this opportunity to be here, to experience this incredible adventure called life. You begin to realize that you don't need to prove anything, that you don't need to earn your worthiness, that you already have everything you need right here, right now. Another thing that helps is to get clear on your values, on what truly matters to you. Not what society says should matter, not what your parents or your friends or your colleagues think should matter, but what actually matters to you in your heart. Is it connection? Is it creativity? Is it growth? Is it contribution? Is it peace? Is it love? Get clear on these things, and then look at how you're spending your time and energy. Are you living in alignment with your values? Or are you running after things that don't really matter to you because you think you're supposed to? When you align your life with your values, everything becomes simpler. Decisions become easier. You know what to say yes to and what to say no to. You stop doing things out of obligation or fear or the need to impress others. You start doing things because they feel right, because they align with who you are and what you care about. And when you live this way, you stop feeling like you're in a race, because you're not trying to get anywhere other than where you already are. You're not trying to be anyone other than who you already are. Let me tell you something important. Comparison is the thief of joy. When you're running through life, you're constantly comparing yourself to others. You're looking at what they have, what they've achieved, where they are, and measuring yourself against them. And this is torture, because there will always be someone who has more, who's achieved more, who seems to be doing better. There will always be someone ahead of you in the imaginary race. And as long as you're comparing, you'll never be satisfied. You'll never be enough. But when you stop running, when you come back to yourself, comparison loses its power. You realize that everyone is on their own path, their own journey. What someone else has or hasn't achieved has nothing to do with you. Their success doesn't diminish yours. Their happiness doesn't diminish yours. There's enough for everyone. There's no competition except the one you create in your own mind. And when you release that competition, when you genuinely celebrate others' success instead of feeling threatened by it, you free yourself. You open up space for your own joy, your own success, your own unique expression. Think about children for a moment. Watch young children play, and you'll see what it looks like to live without running. Children are completely present. They're absorbed in whatever they're doing, whether it's building a sandcastle or chasing a butterfly or making up a story. They're not worried about the future. They're not concerned with how they compare to other children. They're just being, just playing, just experiencing life as it unfolds. And they're joyful, they're spontaneous, they're free. That joy, that spontaneity, that freedom, it's still inside you. It never left. It just got covered up by all the stories you've been telling yourself, all the beliefs you've accumulated, all the racing and striving and trying to be something other than what you are. But it's still there, waiting for you to come back, waiting for you to remember what you knew before you learned to run. And here's what happens when you stop running, when you come back to yourself. When you choose to live from presence instead of fear, you become magnetic. You become attractive, not in a superficial way, but in a real way. People are drawn to you because you're real, because you're present, because you're not trying to be something you're not. You inspire others, not by what you've achieved or what you have, but by how you are, by the peace and joy and authenticity you radiate. You give others permission to stop running too, just by your example. And you start to see life as the gift it truly is. Every moment becomes precious. Every experience, even the challenging ones, becomes an opportunity for growth, for learning, for deepening. You stop resisting what is and start accepting it, working with it, learning from it. You stop waiting for life to begin and realize it's been happening all along. You've just been too busy running to notice. The race, my friend, is an illusion. It's a story we've been telling ourselves, a game we've been playing without realizing we have a choice. But we do have a choice. We always have a choice. And the choice is simple, though not always easy. We can keep running, keep chasing, keep trying to reach some imaginary finish line that will always move further away. Or we can stop, we can breathe. We can be here now, we can live. Because life is not a race. Life is a gift. Life is an opportunity. Life is a miracle unfolding in every moment. And the only way to experience it, the only way to truly live it, is to stop running and start being present. To stop trying to get somewhere else and start appreciating where you are. To stop trying to be someone else and start being fully, authentically, courageously yourself. You are enough. Right now, as you are enough. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, including yourself. You don't need to earn your worthiness. You don't need to achieve some arbitrary standard of success in order to deserve happiness or peace or love. You already deserve all of those things simply because you exist. You are a unique expression of life itself, and that makes you infinitely valuable, infinitely worthy, infinitely enough. So what would your life look like if you really believed that? What would you do differently? How would you spend your time? How would you treat yourself? How would you treat others? What would you let go of? What would you embrace? What would you say yes to? What would you say no to? These are important questions, and only you can answer them. But I encourage you to sit with them, to really consider them, to let them sink in and show you where you've been running and why, because awareness is the first step. Once you see the race for the illusion it is, you can choose to step out of it. You can choose to live differently. You can choose to be present, to be grateful, to be real, to be here now. And when you make that choice, when you really commit to it, something beautiful happens. Life stops being a burden and becomes an adventure. Challenges stop being problems and become opportunities. Other people stop being competition and become companions on the journey. You stop feeling like you're not doing enough or being enough, and you start feeling whole, complete, at peace. You stop waiting for happiness in the future and start experiencing joy right now. This moment, right now, is the only moment you have. It's the only moment that's real. The past is gone. It only exists in your memory. The future hasn't arrived yet. It only exists in your imagination. The only thing that's real, the only thing you can actually experience is now. And if you're always running towards some future moment, you're missing the only reality there is. You're missing your life. So stop. Just stop. Take a breath. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel your body, your heart beating, your aliveness. Look around. Really see where you are. Who's with you? What's available to you right now? What can you appreciate? What can you be grateful for? This is your life, right here, right now. Not in the future, not when you finally achieve that goal or reach that destination. Right now, this is it. And when you really get this, when you really understand that this moment is all there is, you stop rushing, you stop running, you start savoring, you start appreciating, you start living. Because you realize that life isn't about getting somewhere, it's about being somewhere. And that somewhere is here. That sometime is now. And that someone is you, exactly as you are, enough just as you are, worthy just as you are, perfect in your imperfection, whole in your incompleteness, beautiful in your humanity. The race will always be there, calling to you, tempting you to jump back in. Society will keep pushing you to compare, to compete, to strive, to achieve. But now you know the truth. Now you know that you have a choice. You can run or you can live. You can chase or you can receive. You can struggle or you can flow. You can resist what is or you can embrace it. You can wait for happiness in the future or you can choose it right now. What will you choose? Not tomorrow, not when things are different. Right now, in this moment, what will you choose? Will you keep running or will you stop and breathe and be here? Will you keep trying to prove your worth or will you accept that you're already worthy? Will you keep chasing an illusion or will you receive the reality that's already here? The answer is yours. The choice is always yours. And whatever you choose, know that it's okay. There's no right or wrong. There's just awareness and choice and the consequences that flow from them. But also know this. You are loved. You are enough. You are worthy. And your life right now as it is a gift. Don't miss it by running through it. Don't miss it by always being somewhere else. Be here. Be now. Be you. Because life is not a race. It never was. And the moment you stop running, the moment you step out of the race and into the present, is the moment you truly begin to live. That's when the magic happens. That's when the joy arrives. That's when peace becomes possible. Not in some distant future, but right here, right now, in this beautiful, precious, unrepeatable moment that is your life. You know what's interesting? When you stop running, you actually start moving in a more meaningful direction. It seems contradictory, doesn't it? But it's true. When you're racing, you're often moving in circles, repeating the same patterns, chasing the same empty promises. But when you stop and get still, when you listen to that inner guidance, you start moving with purpose. You start moving with intention. Every step becomes deliberate, meaningful, aligned with who you truly are. And here's something else nobody talks about. The people who seem most successful, most fulfilled, most at peace, they're not the ones running the fastest. They're the ones who learn to walk their own path at their own pace. They're the ones who figured out that speed doesn't equal progress. They're the ones who understood that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, reflect, and make sure you're heading in a direction that actually matters to you. Your energy is finite. You only have so much of it each day, each year, each lifetime. And when you're running, you're burning through that energy without any real return. You're exhausting yourself in pursuit of things that don't truly nourish you. But when you stop running and start being intentional about where you put your energy, everything changes. You invest your energy in things that matter, in relationships that feed your soul, in work that feels meaningful, in activities that bring you genuine joy, and suddenly, you're not tired all the time. You're not depleted. You're energized because you're finally using your life force in ways that align with your truth. There's tremendous courage required to stop running, because when you stop, you have to face yourself. You have to look at your life honestly and ask the hard questions. Why have I been running? What am I afraid of? What am I avoiding? What do I really want? Who am I without all the doing, all the achieving, all the striving? These questions can be uncomfortable, they can be scary, but they're also liberating, because on the other side of them is freedom. On the other side of them is authenticity. On the other side of them is the real you, the one who's been waiting patiently for you to come home. So take that first step. Maybe it's saying no to something you don't want to do. Maybe it's taking a day off without guilt. Maybe it's sitting in silence for 10 minutes. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with yourself about what you truly value. Whatever it is, take that step. Stop running, even if just for a moment. Feel what it's like to be still, to be present, to be here. And then take another step, and another. Because this is how you reclaim your life. This is how you step out of the race and into your truth. One conscious choice at a time. One present moment at a time. One authentic step at a time.